Free agency is always a fascinating time in the NBA, but this year it promises to be different. That's because few franchise-changing players are available, and even fewer teams have gobs of money to spend on those players. But if hoops history has taught us anything, it's to expect the unexpected once the market opens. You might know what's going to happen, but then you get that Woj bomb that just surprises us all. In today's video, I'm telling you where 5 of the NBA's top free agent power forwards should sign. How's it going, everybody? This is Troy, host of the Half Court Report YouTube channel, and today's video is the 4th in the series about various free agents that I'm breaking down by position. So today, time for power forwards. I've already done point guard, shooting guard, small forwards, so check out those videos if you haven't already. Real quick, remember, new videos several times a week about anything and everything NBA, so make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Trying to get 10K subs by the end of the year, so anything you could do to help, would appreciate the support. First guy I'm going to talk about is Serge Ibaka of the Toronto Raptors. And Serge has been with the Raptors since 2017 and is really a fan favorite there. I mean, no surprise, because he was a big part of the Raptors collecting that championship ring last year. And, you know, if you listen to Raptors fans, they think there's a good chance that they can repeat this year even. Serge has said that he loves Toronto and he would like to stay there. As we all know, the NBA is a business. We always hear that. So it isn't always that easy. There might be mutual interest in a reunion right now, but the Raptors also have to address free agents like Fred VanVleet and Marc Gasol. Plus, the Raptors have made it no secret that they're going to be after Giannis next summer. So any money you give to Ibaka is going to be less money that you're going to be able to offer the Greek Freak. So if things go sideways with the Raptors, I think Serge's rim protection and floor spacing would also fit really well with Houston, would give them a big guy too, or maybe a reunion with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And speaking of the Oklahoma City Thunder, let's talk about Danilo Gallinari. He's finishing up his first season with the Thunder, and this guy might be a little bit under the radar because he plays in OKC. But he's been a big reason that the Thunder are solidly in the playoffs. He fits the bill on the offensive end. He's the only player to average at least 19 points and 2 3-pointers while shooting 40% from deep both this season and last. And getting that kind of sharp shooting from a 6'10 guy provides invaluable floor spacing to an offense. Statistically, he's been as valuable to the Thunder's game plan really as anyone. If you look at the analytics, he is one of OKC's best rotation players. The Thunder, they could have traded him at the deadline, but they choose to ride with Gallinari. Maybe they think he's going to resign. I'm not so sure. I mean, as long as you have Chris Paul on the roster, you're going to stay somewhat competitive, but the Thunder are closer to rebuilding than they are competing for a championship, and I think Gallinari is going to take that into account when he makes his next contract decision. My money is on Gallinari going elsewhere this summer. I think Miami could be throwing a short-term deal at him that makes a lot of sense. I know a lot of Knicks fans would love to see him back in New York. New York could offer lots of money as well. But as I said before, Gallo is at the point in his career where he wants to go to a team that's going to make a playoff run, who is going to compete. He doesn't necessarily want to go to a rebuilding Knicks team. I've got another team where I think Gallinari would be perfect, and that's the Sixers. Just imagine him on that team and what his shooting could do for their offense. If they could somehow open up some money with a Horford trade, maybe a sign-and trade with Oklahoma City, that would be a dream scenario for Philadelphia. You know, probably the unlikeliest of these options, but would still be fun to see. Next, let's talk about Marcus Morris with the LA Clippers. So Morris is also going to be up for a new contract after signing that one-year deal with the Knicks last offseason. They, of course, traded him back in February to the Clippers for Mo Harkless and a future first-round pick. Since he's been with the Clippers, he's been averaging about 10 points, which is about half of what he was averaging with the Knicks. Small sample size of what he's been able to provide for LA, but I think as he gets more comfortable playing in that Clippers rotation, is going to prove to be a valuable addition for them and could show them that he's worth re-upping for next season. So he's turning 31 in September and should still continue to be a pretty solid player over this next contract. And it's kind of funny because Marcus Morris was better in college than his twin Markieff, but then first few years in the league, Markieff was better in the pros. Now Markieff has fallen off a little bit and Marcus is the better player. So I think Marcus could be an affordable option for the Clippers. I also think he wants to sign with a contender and would sign a below market deal to make that happen. So I'd also pay attention to the Mavericks and the Warriors as a destination for Morris as well. We've also got the Denver Nuggets' Paul Millsap, who's going to be looking for a new deal this offseason. And yeah, he's getting older, entering the twilight of his career, if you want to say that. He's a 14-year veteran. He's going to turn 36 next year. His minutes have steadily declined over the last couple seasons. However, he is a four-time All-Star and he can contribute in a meaningful way. He's having a really efficient year, about 12 points, about 6 rebounds, shooting close to 50% from the field, over 40% from three, all really good numbers. And even though his production is slightly down from his 14 and 7 career averages, his usage rate has actually gone up this season. He has shown a certain level of adaptability and willingness to accept a new role with the Nuggets, and that's really paid off in a big way for Denver. I think the Nuggets could look to retain Millsap, which might be a good idea in the event Jeremy Grant, another power forward on their roster, decides not to take his player option. But then you've also got Michael Porter Jr., who's going to look to get big rotation minutes next year. The Nuggets might offer Millsap the best chance to compete for that championship that has eluded him so far in his career, and that could make him more open to negotiating a slightly cheaper short-term deal. The Spurs, I think, will also be in need of some front court help. That makes some sense to me. He could maybe even start for the Spurs if they need him to. I think it would also make some sense for him to return to the Utah Jazz. They're going to be a team that will be trying to contend next year, and Millsap spent the first 7 years of his career in Salt Lake City. And finally, we've got Christian Wood of the Detroit Pistons, and it's quite possible nobody boosted their bank account as much over the 2019-2020 season as Christian Wood has done. Now, I've covered him on this channel before. Make sure you check out my video on him. But last summer, Christian Wood was able to get Detroit's final roster spot on a non-guaranteed contract. And nobody really thought he was going to be contributing in the way that he has. Once the Pistons traded Andre Drummond back at the trade deadline, Christian Wood really broke out and has been looking like a legit star. Over the 13 games after that Drummond trade, Christian Wood averaged almost 23 points, almost 10 rebounds, about 2 threes, and a block a game, while shooting over 50% from the field and 40% from three. So you hear the term unicorn being thrown around a lot, and Christian Wood is knocking on that unicorn door if he keeps this up. 6'10", 7'3" wingspan, skilled guy, he's athletic, shoots the three. Whatever team gets him is going to be getting a good one. And the Pistons, they want to re-sign Christian Wood in a big way, and I think they will have the money to do it. But I also have Knicks fans on this channel all the time who are convinced they can get Christian Wood on their team. And I think the Knicks front office would love to pair him with Mitchell Robinson in the front court. Charlotte is another team who can throw the Brinks truck at Christian Wood. He'd fill a hole in their front court, especially if they don't go with a big man in the 2020 draft. Regardless, though, Christian Wood is going to be asking for a boatload of money, and it's going to take a lot to get him out of Detroit because they've invested a lot into him as a player. That's going to do it for this week's video. One more to go in this series where I'll be covering free agent centers sometime in next week's video. So let me know what you think in the comments, if you'd like any of these guys on your team, and if there's any free agent power forwards that I should have talked about. If you've enjoyed today's video, make sure you drop a like on it. Would love if you subscribe to the channel as well. Thanks so much for watching. This is Troy with the Half Court Report, and I'll see you next time.